This week on Cartoon Dumpster Dive, we cover the Christmas movie, Arthur Christmas.
Ho, ho.
Happy Christmas, as Arthur would say. That must be
Merry
a very
Christmas.
British thing to say.
I
Instead
was
of
not
Merry Christmas.
Happy Christmas
Happy
instead.
Christmas just doesn't feel right to me.
It
How do you
doesn't.
feel about Santa Claus, like the stories of Christmas where Santa Claus has children? What I'm trying to say is, are you a fan of Santa Claus fucking going balls deep into Mrs. Claus and producing heirs?
I mean,
Just really spanking that Christmas ham, you know what I'm saying?
I don't like to think about it. The mental image is terrible. Just
Getting down on
why-
her sugar cookie.
why anyone would want to just see Santa and Mrs. Claus. That's like seeing your grandparents bump uglies. You just there are
There's
things-
actually, they did a survey and like Santa Claus was pretty up there for a lot of women's sexual fantasies. So
get help. That's all I
yeah.
You got some daddy issues or something.
Grandpappy issues, more like it.
Grandpappy, yeah.
But yeah, this is we're gonna cover Arthur Christmas. But yeah, oh wait, you never answered my question. Santa having kids. How do you feel about it?
I'm okay with it. I think it does add a little bit more like lineage to
Yeah.
Santa Claus. Like it's not just some
I
magical.
will talk about that more in the movie because I thought
Yeah.
I got a big laugh out of it, and it was because of a comic book. But yeah, we'll
Yeah.
get into that.
But yeah, like that's kind of I'm okay with it. I don't want to think about the act of getting babies when it comes to these two characters, Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus. But
I'm
I'm
trying
okay
to think
with
of
it.
something with Deck the Halls, and it's either
Dick the Hall.
Dick her halls, Dick her walls
Oh God.
with balls of holly.
I really hope none of my clients are listening to this episode.
Fa la 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 la. That's what he does for conolingus. Clausolingus.
He's on fire.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I might have been sick last week, and as you can tell from my voice, I'm able to speak, but not very well. But baby, you know what? I still got fire in me.
You on your game tonight.
So yeah, there's no theme music to review. We can just jump right into how this got made. And this isn't a book
So
or anything.
no.
Yeah,
No,
I thought this look okay. The way this is animated and the way the art goes, this looks like a book, which
Yeah.
made it a little more forgiving for how horrifying these characters look from time to time.
Yeah, it's animation and it was really good. So this was a movie. Of course it's a movie, but it was produced by Columbia Pictures, Sony's Picture Animation, and Aardman Features. Released in 2011, right before the holiday season kicked off. It had a budget of 100 million, made 147 million. So I did want to talk about Aardman Animations really quick,
Okay.
because it just made sense. The moment I saw the animation, I was just like, okay, yeah, no, this is it. But Aardman Animation, they are behind Wallace and Gromit, Chicken Run,
That's why they look like that. Okay.
Shaun the Sheep, and a British series called Morph.
Should we cover Wallace and Gromit someday? Let us know in the whatever you're listening to comment section.
I would also like to go over Chicken Run.
I love Chicken Run. I didn't watch the sequel on Netflix, though. The one where they talk about pot pies.
That is a great movie.
Nice. Okay, cool.
So this was actually their second computer animation feature after their 2006 movie, Flushed Away.
That should be something else we should cover.
Yeah.
The canonically first time Hugh Jackman is shown in the Wolverine suit. Like in cinema.
That's right.
Yeah, he stars in that. I'll probably say that again when we cover Flushed Away in whatever time frame that is.
So this actually followed a breakup between DreamWorks Animations and Aardman Features.
Okay.
After Flushed Away, because let's be honest, Flushed Away
did not perform well.
It got a bit of a cult itself.
Ooh.
So after that flop of a movie, DreamWorks basically said, hey, we're not renewing the partnership that we had with Aardman. After that, Aardman signed a 3-year deal with Sony Pictures. This film was the beginning, the first, feature that they made for Sony. It was originally supposed to be titled Operation Rudolph.
Fitting.
Yep, name got changed. Aardman, they had spent 18 months on pre-production of the story and design while in UK. And then they spent another 18 months on production. So this was a pretty lengthy process, but that's really it on the creation. There's not a lot to this. They just had this idea, came up with it, and made a movie.
What if Santa had kids and one of them was cool and one of them was not cool?
Which one's the cool one?
Well, I mean, if you look at how the movie is set up, Steve is the cool one and then Arthur is the not cool one. Yep. He's the fuck up of the family.
He's the black sheep.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. We'll get that when we talk about the plot.
Yeah. But hit us with the voice actor.
I kind of want to talk about this a little more. I'm shocked that this is not a book. This feels like a book, right? It feels like a children's book that they turned into a movie, but it's not one. It's like there's another dimension where this is a book. Like an almost Mandela effect. That's really all I wanted to say about it.
I don't see why they just didn't do a children's book based off of this.
Because a movie's cooler, Joel. Get with the times. People don't read. Books are for nerds. It's for squares.
I'm sorry. How many parents still read to their kids little children books?
Not this parent. I tell them every night, books are for nerds. You don't need to know how to read. Good night. No. And you know what? I'm setting up a fucking winner. I'm
setting up a winner. He won't know how to read or write, but he's going to be able to show them
He's just going to punch nerds in the face and tell them, do my work. Okay.
We've been rewatching through Always Sunny. It makes me think of the episode where they tried to bribe, or they tried to elicit a bribe from the local election going on.
Right.
And he goes to the union and Mac calls them nerds. And from there, they was just like, we're going to destroy this guy. And the main guy in the office is saying that. And his right hand man is like, Jerry, do you really think this is worth out? And he's like, he called us nerds. Nerds.
Hey, sometimes getting called a nerd is enough.
Yeah.
Speaking of nerds, the voice cast for Arthur Christmas
had a nerd in it.
A guy who plays a nerd often.
Ooh.
James McAvoy plays Arthur. Hugh Laurie plays Steve. Bill Nighy plays Grand Santa. Jim Broadbent plays Santa. Imelda Staunton plays Mrs. Santa, and Ashley Jensen plays Brawny.
So, which one plays who's the nerd?
James McAvoy played Professor X. Professor X is the ultimate nerd.
Okay,
he's a guy in a wheelchair. He used telekinesis. Come on, that's nerd shit right there. Nerd power, nerd body, nerd all the way. And he wanted people to get along. How dare he? Honestly,
what a nerd!
What a nerd. Okay, so for their other works, we have. In his most recent movie, James McAvoy plays Patty in Speak No Evil. Hugh Laurie is Dr. House in the series House. Bill Nighy is Billy Mack in Love Actually. Jim Broadbent is Dennis Thatcher in The Iron Lady.
Okay.
Oh, he's also Inspector Frank Butterman in Hot Fuzz.
Ooh.
And Imelda Staunton, I fucked that up. I'm sorry. She's Dolores Umbridge in Harry Potter.
Oh
yeah, that's the lady who gets raped by those centaurs, right? I'm not trying to make a joke about that kind of thing, but that does happen. Ashley Jensen is Biscuit Woman in The Lobster.
Sounds like something UK.
Yeah. So that is the voice cast, and this shit is very British.
Very British.
Even just the way they talk and the jokes that they have, you're like, this is a British ass movie. But basically, the long and the short of it is, Santa Claus is the Phantom. Are you familiar with the comic The Phantom?
Yes.
So, for those of you who don't know, the Phantom is a vigilante who fights crime, and all these criminals are like, he's been doing this for like years, since like World War II. But all the criminals are like, they just assume it's one guy, and that's because every time the Phantom dies or gets fallen in action or dies of old age or whatever, they replace him with just someone in the family. And that's what the Clauses do in Arthur Christmas. So there's just been like, from the original Saint Nick up until now, there's been just lineages of various Santa Clauses, but they're all a different name. Like, for instance, we don't ever learn what Grand Santa's name is, but the Santa Claus that we follow who's about to retire, his name is Malcolm.
That's right.
Malcolm Claus. And so I kind of like that a little bit, not just having an immortal Santa Claus, although that does kind of take away from it.
I thought it was cool. I thought it's a cool concept to just.
I love the concept. Of just a lineage of Santa Claus.
It's just the family business. That's it.
Yeah, the family business. Oh, what if they were Italian? Oh, that'd have been great. Oh, that's the next Christmas movie, Mafia Santa Claus.
Oh my God, that would be great.
He gives kids prosciutto for Christmas stocking stuffers, stuff like that.
Yeah.
If only James Gandolfini was still alive, we could do the Italian Santa Claus movie.
Oh, it would have been the best. The best.
But so this is not how the plot of this movie is not how I thought the plot of this movie was going to go. I didn't read the synopsis. So this is what I thought the plot was, and we'll see if you agree with me. So the plot of this movie that I thought it would be is Santa Claus. The first act, which I thought was really cool, by the way, where they're like all like special ops doing stuff, and then you realize that Santa, he barely does anything because he's old.
Yeah.
So he refuses to retire. The brother who's doing all the work kidnaps him. A year passes, or so, or they try to look for him for a year. They can't find him. Like, oh, well, I guess if we can't find Dad, I'll be Santa. And then plot. Arthur finds out that his brother Steve kidnapped Santa because he was overlooked for being Santa Claus. That's what I thought this movie was.
It's pretty wild. That's a wild story, Andrew.
That's pretty. That's what this movie sets up to kind of be, though.
That is basically Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
Oh my God, it is Grandma. Only it's with the Santas this time.
Exactly. No, I thought it was going to just be like Arthur was like Santa Claus's biggest fan.
Okay.
And it was just like a journey with Santa Claus to kind of deliver the presents, just one of those kind of Christmas movies.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I was not expecting this.
Yeah, so basically they have this huge operation. So this is another opinion I wanted to get yours. How do you feel about Santa being where they write it to where you're like, he's not really using magic. He's like being more tech savvy. It's almost like they're trying to make you like, how would Santa realistically work kind of deal. What do you feel about that? My opinion is always kind of mixed. I did enjoy how this one was. I thought they pulled this one off pretty well. I was fully expecting to not like this movie, and I found it, by the end of it, I found it pretty charming. Actually.
Yeah, it's definitely entertaining. But I can appreciate, that kind of Santa, using tech instead of just magic or what have you. But that's not how I want my Santa to be.
And you know what? To their credit, they bring it up in this movie. That it has not always been done this way. They've done that before.
Yeah, Steve was the big pusher of like, hey, we're changing.
Steve Claus.
We're changing how we do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's been making, and it was really funny to how they like showed like Santa's age. They're like, okay, Santa gets to do one.
Yeah, one. Santa's like forgetful too. Like he literally
because he's on his 70th voyage.
Yeah.
So it's like they're all like, okay, this is all just ceremonial at this point. We have to get him to retire.
Yeah. I love just the fact that like Santa is just so old. He's like forgetting what he's doing. Like he's just an old person.
He's an old man.
That's it.
Yeah, and it's pretty funny. And so like they have a few hiccups, and then at the end of it, Santa does a speech, and he's like, I'm not gonna retire. I'm gonna go. I can't wait till next year. And Steve is like, oh man, what the fuck? And that's when I thought he was going to kidnap him, but instead Steve is bragging about how this new system is really locked in and has no faults. And he's like, well, we missed one kid. Yep. And they missed a kid. It was a little girl for her bike. And Arthur's like, we can't just let one kid not have a Santa Claus. And, like this, a little other stuff happens. Like one thing is like, I couldn't help but notice that the mom is supposed to look like some famous British woman, but I couldn't help but notice she looked a lot like Barbara Bush.
She did.
Yeah, she did look like Barbara Bush to me, but I felt like there was a lot of British references that went over my head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this movie it's very British, it is.
He's back.
It's a Christmas miracle. I got hit in the testicles and the head by a reindeer because I was trying to ride it. drunk after a night at the pub with me boys. Well, I'm back to wish you a happy holidays. Me, Cockney McCock balls. Also had a bit of the plague, I did.
Our favorite reoccurring guest on Cartoon Dumpster Dive.
But yes, a very British movie.
It is.
That's why I also thought it was a book. Because I was like, okay, this is some British book that like, because you ever talk to a British person and they talk about like the more obscure British shows that like happen on like the BBC, but for real, not our BBC, but the real one. And you're just like, I don't know what the fuck that is.
Like I've tried watching some of them. I can find some humor in it, but there's a lot of those jokes. I'm just like, I don't get it.
Dude, like, okay, this is the thing with like, American comedy has to be more widespread because we're trying to do a global market.
Yeah.
But like if you do like Japanese, British, Swedish, blah, 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 they can localize forever.
Yeah.
But it's like our country's huge. So it's like a joke has to land in New York just as well as it lands in like Arizona.
Yeah.
So it's got to be more broad, which is why dick jokes are king over here. You can probably say, you could go to any American and go, hey, and they'll like, what? And they'll go, cock and balls. And you're like, that's pretty good, man.
You got me. That's a good one.
Then he goes about his day like, oh, what are you laughing at? Oh, like some guy said cock and balls to me. I'm like, dude, nice. And they high five and we shoot our guns in the air. And we have a giant breakfast and eat 3 double bacon cheeseburgers.
That's it.
I think that's all the stereotypes I heard on my travels.
And that's when the bald eagle will fly overhead, singing the national anthem.
That's the breakfast thing was the weirdest stereotype I know about Americans.
Really?
So because of our commercials where they show like a balanced breakfast, people overseas just think we have like a grapefruit, a bowl of cereal, bacon and eggs, a waffle. And it's just like, nah, usually we just have like a bowl of cereal. Like we don't have like this giant spread.
I'm not rich. I don't have a personal shelf making me food as soon as I wake up.
It's like, you think my mom woke up at 4 a.m. and made me the Denny's Grand Slam? You're lucky I didn't wake up through a backhand and a Pop-Tart.
I'm lucky if I wake up in time to just be like, oh, I've got like 3 minutes to eat breakfast. It's normally
I'm
like
usually eating breakfast at work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like I'll pick up something on the way to work, or I'm grabbing like a protein ball, just going out the door, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, we missed one, and Grand Santa, who was the Santa before the Santa that we have now.
He's like senile.
Yeah, he's a senile old man. He goes, you should have done it how we did back in the day. I didn't need no fancy schmancy tech when I was going. And one of the things that we learned this Santa is the reason that Santa didn't deliver gifts for 6 years because of the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yep.
And let's see. There was something else that he said that oh yeah, and he just sits around and watches TV all day. And that was one thing that Mrs. Claus wanted him to our current Santa, Malcolm Santa, she wanted him to retire, and he had a big fear about that because he had an identity crisis because he's been Santa for 70 years.
Yep.
He's like, well, if I'm not Santa, who am I?
Mm-hmm.
And so they all kind of learned that they missed this one little girl's gifts, and they're not going to really do anything about it. Like, Malcolm Santa's like, well, I'm going to lose some sleep over it, but I'm not. If Steve says it's impossible, because Steve has basically kind of been Santa.
Yeah.
And he even calls his own father a figurehead. And he says, like, you're not really doing anything at this point. I'm doing everything. And so, Arthur's like, you know what? I'm going to figure out how to deliver this gift to this kid.
A kid can't go without their present.
It's like, and then Grand Santa gets the idea that, like, hey, we could do this, and I could show them that you don't need no fancy schmancy tech to do what you got to do. And they get the old ass reindeer, they get the magic pixie dust, and they also meet an elf that's an expert at rapping.
Yep.
And she's like, all they got to do is deliver this gift. That's it. One gift.
One gift.
One bike.
You figure it would take 40 minutes tops for them.
Yeah.
That's it.
Turns out, although this is perfect Christmas movie length, it is an hour and a half. This is the perfect Christmas movie length. Anything over that, too much.
Nope.
Too much Christmas.
Too much.
So, first of all, they go to the wrong Torville or whatever it's called.
They go to one in like Central America.
Yeah, they go to one in Mexico.
Oh.
And let's see, what else? Oh, and then they take a wrong turn and they end up in South Africa. And I kind of like that one where they're trying to escape the lions.
It's pretty cool.
It's a pretty good design for the lions and all the animals, and they use the magic dust to kind of make all of Africa fly. Meanwhile, at the North Pole, they're getting all these like news alerts that there are aliens, and they're just like, it's just like 1816 all over again or something like that. And
it's at this point, it's like the rest of the world is like, what the hell is going on?
The UN is involved.
Yeah, they're like tracking. They're tracking this sleigh, and they're like, "What the is this?"
And so we keep going, and then eventually, their camera gets broken in the lion chase, and Grand Santa's like, "Now I can't take my picture." That's when Arthur learns Grand Santa's intentions weren't to help this little girl, really. It was so he could prove to them that their ways suck and his ways are better, which ultimately is untrue for multiple reasons. One, they're struggling just to deliver one gift.
Yep.
And
one.
Earlier in the movie, you learned that Steve and his crew were able to deliver 2 billion gifts in one night. That's crazy.
That's why they didn't care about one package.
And that leads to some tension later. The elves are unaware that this had happened. This was more like an upper management discussion, because it was like they had made a margin of error of 0.0004867 blah 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 percent, because it was one gift missing.
Yeah.
And Steve accidentally lets out a truth bomb of like, who cares about this one kid? And this gives the elves enough information to go on a misinformation spree, because now the elves are like, are kids even real if they don't matter? And so they don't tell anybody. So now they're just like, okay, if he's like, I made 2 billion successes, but okay, if we're going to concentrate on just one fault, I'll go deliver this present myself.
Yeah.
I believe at this point, Arthur and Grand Santa they're on the outs. Like they're
like in the ocean. They're like
stranded they're stranded on a deserted island. And Arthur is having doubts about Christmas and Santa Claus, because he's like, none of these Santas only care about being right. They don't care about the kids or like the true meaning of gift giving. And then that's when Santa sees the letter that he was, not Santa. They're all Santa. That's when Arthur sees the letter. He's like, it doesn't matter if it's Grand Santa or Dad or Steve or myself. As long as Santa gets this gift to a girl, all she knows is that Santa remembered her, read her letter, and get her a gift. And this is like where they're all kind of like racing to get to this house. And because they've all realized that, like, from one point or another, they've all kind of realized, Steve, Malcolm, Grand Santa, Arthur, that it's like, it's not about them, and it's about the bigger picture of Santa. Like, these kids don't know about this like lineage thing.
No, they don't know about the drama and stuff like that.
Like, they realize that it's like, it's about Santa Claus. Santa Claus means the world to the kids. Like it, they have to get over themselves to do it. And so like Malcolm and Steve are in the big S1 spaceship thing. Grand Santa sacrifices his sleigh because the UN is fully convinced that they're being invaded by aliens that hate Christmas.
Yep.
That A, know about Christmas, and B, despise it.
They're just like, we hate Christmas.
So he takes one for the team and he shoots down. He gets his sleigh shot down because he realizes he's like, okay, I'm a relic of the past. Like, this isn't the way. You can't do it this way anymore. And so he gets shot down. And then Arthur is booking it. All the elves, by the way, think they got abandoned. So they decide to blow. This third act goes crazy.
Bananas.
Because they were like, they decide, well, if the Claus is left, we should blow up the North Pole.
Reasonable.
Like, that's an extreme measure for what you could just live there, I assume, or leave. But they're like, no, destroy it all. And
what's life worth at this point?
If we can't make toys and deliver presents, there's obviously nothing else to do. I would rather blow my fucking brains out than get an office job or make cookies like those piece of shit Keeblers.
I ain't going back into that tree.
I ain't going back into that fucking fire hazard of a bakery. So, they're all racing, but before they melt down, they see that Arthur is just straight booking it to this kid's house. Steve honestly would have made it there on time, but he made the same mistake. He went to Mexico first. Unfortunately, he's got this big speech. He's like, okay, we messed up, but we got you this better bike. And then the little Mexican boy's like, but okay? He's like, oh shit, this is the wrong house. And then he makes a kid cry. And then Steve learns a very valuable lesson that not everybody's great with kids. And so they all make it. Arthur, he's able to set up, like they all get there and they're all fighting. They're like, I should deliver the gift. I'm Santa. And it's like, Steve's like, no, you handed it over to me. I'm Santa. And Grand Santa, who has a concussion and is trying to deliver garbage, is like, no, I'm Santa Claus. Here, have a fig. And he shows an apple core. And then, like, Malcolm has a sense of clarity. And he goes, you know what? It should be Arthur. Because he's the only one who gave a shit.
Yeah.
This whole time. And so, Arthur puts the gift under the tree. And, he's just like, Dad, do you want to watch her? And, like, Santa Claus is like, I've actually never done this. I've never actually watched the kids open the gift. Always, been too busy. And that's when he realized that, like, he might have been too busy for his own kids.
Yeah.
And he said a very British saying. So he's like, I've been too busy. And he pats his sons on the back and he goes, you're not really good at talking out my issues. A good pat on the back and a walnut used to go a long way when I was a kid. I'm like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, so the gift, they've delivered all the gifts. They get back home. They do a sports movie ending to this movie where it's like they just show like pictures of them and it's text, which made me believe even more that it was a book because it's done in the form of a fucking Christmas book. So you telling me that this isn't a book is driving me insane.
It should be a book. It is.
It probably is now. It was successful. I was surprised that, like, I thought it was going to do more successful in the UK than it did in the US, but they were pretty on par with one another.
Yeah, I guess America just got more people in it to go see it.
Probably. Yeah, just to go see it. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty decent movie.
The North American release really didn't beat out the UK by like
they were pretty on par with one another.
Yeah. So not surprised there. But I still don't think there is a book. I've not been able to find any evidence that there's a book, even now. Apparently there was a video game.
Yeah, for iOS and Android.
An Elf Run. So this would have been like Subway Surfer, whatever
okay.
that.
Yeah, those were that was pretty on the up and up right then. But Joel, I believe it's time to move to your new reoccurring segment: reviews that retire in grace and reviews that hold on to the reins.
Ooh, nice one, Andrew. So this one is sitting at a 7.1 out of 10. 69,000 ratings.
Bro, 69. Nice. That's what Mrs. Claus and Santa Claus did as foreplay before they made Arthur.
All right, so this is a 1 out of 10 titled Terrible Christmas Movie. I just watched this movie and I feel like it ruined the magic and spirit of Christmas. Santa Claus doesn't read the children's letters. He doesn't deliver the presents. He doesn't eat the cookies or anything children believe he does. He doesn't fly a sleigh pulled by 8 reindeer or by magic. One line in the movie actually is, "Don't worry, children are stupid." And nobody reacts to him saying it like they all believe it. It's terrible. The family of the Clauses have no Christmas spirit except Arthur. Santa Claus doesn't care for the children of the world. This movie made me sad. The elves do absolutely everything. The Clauses are selfish and very unlikable. Don't watch this movie unless you want to feel your childhood crumble.
I will say, like, it is cool to watch the first scene, but it's very cold, very technical. It's not mad. Like, they have like devices that drink the milk and bite cookies for them, and you're just like, he doesn't even eat them.
No. Is it weird that I kind of agree with the feeling that the spirit that you know, that magic you want from a Christmas movie, I never really felt it with this movie.
No, I felt it at the very end when the little girl was opening the gifts. Okay. And that, I feel like, was it. The rest of this was just like an adventure romp movie, but it didn't feel very Christmassy. And I think that's why a lot of people don't really remember this movie that well, is like, or it doesn't hold on to you like Christmas stuff, because it only really has a Christmas feel at the beginning and end. And your first feeling of the Christmas feel is you're like, this is like a very cold, calculated, covert operation. Yep. And then the next one, and then at the very end, you're like, oh, Christmas morning, you know, the little girl got her bike and like they reunited. The Clauses like realized to get their heads out of their asses. And
yep.
And I think that's what's the important part of this movie is like, the lesson is get over yourself. You know,
the lesson is very good at the end. I'll give it that, but I think the build up. It's like you just don't feel that magic until
no, you do
end.
not. It's not a very Christmas magic kind of movie.
No,
that would be my only. That's like I have like the character design is like not my favorite. And it's just like the overall like feel of the movie. I agree with that. That is like it doesn't at any point in time, other than the fact that their last name is Claus. It just feels more scientific than magic.
It's the same feeling I get when I watch the movie Santa Slays.
I could see that.
Yeah. Fantastic movie, by the way.
I love that, starring Goldberg.
Bill Goldberg.
But what's our good review?
Our 10 out of 10 titled A Masterpiece of a Movie.
Oh, okay.
This, without a doubt, was the best Christmas movie I've seen all season and one of the best animated features of all time, in my opinion.
Oh,
Every
wow.
holiday season, I always watch the Christmas classics, Home Alone, A Christmas Story, Die Hard, Rudolph, Frosty, etc. But I think this movie even tops all of them. I have not laughed this much at any movie in years and years. It was actually kind of hard keeping up with all of the jokes, but it was done in a brilliant way. This movie would definitely be added to my holiday season movie list. I will watch it every year from here on out. 10 out of 10, a masterpiece.
I will say I laughed more at Grand Santa than anyone else. But,
It's not
I feel like I would have laughed more if I was British. Does that make any sense? I feel like there's like British humor that I was not picking up. And if you are British and listen to this show, just can you let me know if I'm right or not?
I honestly,
I know I have a contact with Cockney McCock and Balls, but honestly, I don't know if that guy is really on the up and up. I'm starting to think he might not even be British.
Andrew, he got kicked in the head by a donkey.
He's kicked in the head a lot.
He's not all there, man. I hate to tell you that, but he's you might want to find someone else.
I need to find another random British person in my life. That might happen.
But no, here's my thing. I guess this is my final thought on this movie. I enjoyed it. The animation in it is actually kind of beautiful. The animation, it's great. It's an interesting take on, Santa Claus and just that whole thing.
I agree.
It's not going on my holiday movie list, though. I'm not, like, maybe in 5 years, might watch it again.
Maybe. I think the thing that entertained me the most is I was watching this with my son, and anytime the elves came on, he would go, "Hi, babies. Hi."
Hi, babies.
And that was about it. But yeah, it was okay. It's definitely not like they made the clauses too military-esque, I think, for you to really, that's the word I'm looking for. It's like it's too covert to feel Christmassy. I get what they're trying to do, and they pull it off extremely well. The movie is good. It's just, I don't feel like it's one that I would watch. It's definitely not a every year. It's like, it was just like, it's like the year it came out, and then it's like, it's not gonna. It would be, what year did this come out? It's 2011's Red One.
Yep, there you go.
Because that's a Christmas movie for this year.
That's not a Christmas movie.
And and it's almost the same concept.
It looks
actually
dumb as hell.
what I thought the plot of this movie is what the plot of Red One is.
Exactly.
But I believe that wraps up Arthur Christmas. If you would like to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/cartoondd. There we have the $5 tier that gets you stickers and pins mailed to your door, bonus episodes with extended audio, and access to our Discord. We have a website, cartoondumpsterdive.com. There you can send a request or go to our store to buy some merch. Been seeing a lot more uptick on the merch sales lately, so we always appreciate it. We have an X and a Blue Sky, both Cartoon DD. We are Cartoon Dumpster Dive on all other social media platforms. And as a Christmas wish, we would love it if you would give us a 5-star review on the podcasting platform of your choice, so we don't have to retire and give this podcast, I guess, to my son to talk about cartoons that he'll never have heard of. He also can barely talk, so please start giving us 5-star reviews. Have a great rest of your week.
See ya.
This has been a Lughole podcast.